Okay, this is part two of a review I did. The first one was of the AZ8 by Losmandy, the Alt Az head, the tripod. This is part two, just to kind of go over a couple things I said I was going to do or add to make it a little more user-friendly for myself. Not that it isn't excellent, just the way it comes. But, so I did get the other astrophysics plate, mounted it on the saddle, and in the first video I told you about the middle screw and what it does, so I won't go over that. But I do want to say one other thing that you can do in getting these two saddle plates parallel to each other. By that I mean these surfaces, the ways that the when you mount your instrument in here, you want these surfaces parallel with this saddle to the other saddle. I used a granite plate. Something else you could do that almost anybody would have around or get from a neighbor is a level. And when you put the level on, you could go one on each side, but if you put the level on, you should not get any rocking. When you set it here, it shouldn't rock, and when you go over here, it shouldn't rock. If one side or the other, or they both rock, that means that these surfaces aren't parallel. And that should get you pretty close for most people. That should get you pretty close. And then you can always take it and do the opposite side and check it or swing it around. But I just thought I would add that since I didn't mention that in my first video. Alright, I also finished up my flex extension that mounts on the slow motion knobs of the AZ8. And actually, I when I was at a store looking for some other hardware, I found these 1" by quarter square bar. Was perfect. Bought two of those. Tightened it down real tight in the flex shaft. That way, when I do want to attach it to the AZ8, I just loosen this up, stick this in, and tighten that down, snug it down a little bit, and when I'm done, unscrew it from the adjusting knob, and that this will always stay as is. That way you never lose that square rod, and works out very well. One thing that I did say in video 1 that I wanted to do was put a little weight down through the center of the this tripod. When I had my Astrophysics 130 GT on it, on the one side, it just seemed like if somebody were to bump it, or myself, or do something that possibly, and there wasn't a leg out on that side, that it may just tip just because of that extra weight. So I came up with something so that I could attach a weight and have it to hang down parallel through the center axis of this tripod vertically. So when you buy the tripod, you get this really nice knob arrangement from Losmandy that you use to anchor this down into the tripod. Now, this is a 3/8 bolt, 3/8. The good thing about that is that the tap drill size for a 3/8, you drill a hole that is 5/16 in diameter. So that allowed me to think about, well, why don't I get a stainless steel eye bolt, 5/16 diameter. The overall length is 4 inches. Then what I did is I added 4 stainless steel nuts to it, tighten them down on here, and there's a reason for that. That's so that when this is brought up from the bottom, I don't have a lot of thread length here to have to work with. Okay, and so now that easily will go down in here without doing anything to the original hole. Don't have to drill it or anything, so you keep the integrity of the original setup. Then what I did is on the bottom of this, when I put this underneath the tripod, I use this rubber washer and then a stainless steel washer. Then this will go through here. This will go up through the bottom, through the tripod, and through this head. Then I put another rubber washer on, and then I also put a stainless steel washer on top of that. And then I have the stainless steel wing nut. And when that's screwed down, that easily works great. Keeps the two pieces of the tripod head, the out-ass head, to the tripod. And then I use this hook then to anchor the chain, to attach the chain to, and then the weight will be down at the bottom. The next thing that I needed to get was the weight. Now I was looking around, and my thoughts were to get a regular weightlifting plate, those round plates, you know, with a 1-inch diameter hole in it, and possibly rig something. But when I was at my local Meijer store, there for something else, I actually went over, and in the boat section, they have this mushroom anchor. It's 15 pounds, and immediately when I saw it, I thought this is the key to getting this, because it already has a ready-made hole in which to attach, and I like the small compactness of the weight itself. So, and I think that was like $25 at the Meijer store. So I bought this. Again, that's a 15-pound mushroom boat anchor. Then, when I was going to get chain and something to anchor to the weight, I found this really heavy-duty stainless steel carabiner, and so that fits in here like that. So that is going to be what I use to put that onto the chain. So then I needed to get a chain. This might look like a little overkill, but to get something to fit into this carabiner, and I had to get something that opened up enough, see, to get this out. So this is the size that I kind of had to get, so I had to get a chain that worked with this. So then I came up, I found this chain. So what I do then is the end here without an S-hook, that would go in here, and now that would go up then to the top, you know, then that would go to the tripod head. Now this S-hook I put on and put it in a vise, smashed it down so I couldn't lose it at night. That stays affixed all the time. When the tripod is at its highest point, when I have it extended to the fullest height, then the chain has been cut, and with this attached to the eye hook, this will be about 3 inches off the ground. That gives me a little bit of room for leveling the legs up and down, you know, to get it level. Well, then I also wanted to get something attached, an S-hook, so that what if I had, for some reason, the level or the tripod at the lowest setting, all the legs in. So then I affixed the stainless steel S-hook to the point where when I'm at the lowest and I hook this up on the eye hook, this will be a couple inches off the ground. So that way I've got one chain that will do double duty for any range, be it the tripod at the fullest extent or at its lowest. So now we have everything ready to go. So what I'm going to do is take my eye bolt and put the washer with the rubber washer on top. I'm going to bring that up through the opening where your original knob would go through. I will take the other rubber washer, put it on, take the stainless steel washer, and now you see why I added those 5 nuts on there. See how nice it is? That's all the more you need here. And then I just put the wing nut on, and that's it. Snug it down, and you're ready for the weights. So here you see the eye bolt sticking down. Okay, with that attached, here's the chain that I made up. And if I was going to have it like I do now in the highest extended point of the tripod, I would take this top one, put it in there. The weight's going to be down at the bottom. I've had it properly cut. It's measured to do what I want, to the right height. And that would be that. Now, if I had the tripod at the lowest setting, then I would come up here and I would use the other S-hook down towards the bottom, and that would get me situated for using this weight with the tripod at its lowest setting, the legs all the way up. Alright, next we're going to attach the weight to this chain. So here's the carabiner, this heavy duty carabiner. Take that, stick that in there. Here's your 15-pound boat anchor, mushroom boat anchor. Stick that in there. And there you have it. Now you've got the weight. It's off the ground by about 3 inches, which is what I wanted, being the fact that if I'm on terrain, that gives me enough room, latitude to move the legs, be it whatever one's needed to, without that weight hitting the ground. And so then if we pan up here, you'll see that I have the other S-hook. And again, as I stated, this is the one you would use if I had the legs all the way up. This one's been attached to the chain at the proper height that I deemed, so that I could still use this with the legs all the way down. And then we'll just pan up, and there you have it. Pretty simple, nothing too complicated. Anybody could do that. And I did this just to give you an idea, in case might be an issue with you, with an instrument attached to one side that is fairly heavy, because I can see myself doing that. Again, for say solar work, having the AP130 on one side and having my Lunt 35mm H alpha on the other side, there's a big disparity in weight, and just don't want to have any issues, and I don't want to have any possible problems with this tipping. And so then if we come up here and we take a look, now if I hit on this, really bang on it, this thing doesn't want to go anywhere, okay, with that weight on it. Now I'm going to take that weight off. I mean, you can see the same weight. I'm moving this tripod. And with the weight attached, it's much more stable. Doesn't want to give like it did. So that should work out very well.